What's up, Space Cadets?
This is the
Next Gen Revolution Podcast.
And welcome to the motherfucking future.
That was perfect said.
Let's go. Ready to lift off in 3, 2, 1. What's up, Space Cadets? We're here today to talk about sustaining growth. We're going to talk about time management, accountability, and the other one that Moses knows.
Understanding your purpose.
Understanding your purpose, your why. All right, so let's get into it. How do we all sustain our growth? Personally, I guess it's just journals. Like, again, we were talking about, like, purpose, accountability. So, like, keeping a journal and then not having a journal, I've seen moments in my journal where it's like, hey, I'm growing, I'm doing stuff. And then when I don't write journals, I'm like, I lost track of things, and now my life's a mess. Maybe I should journal again. So, like, how do you guys sustain your growth? Or what are some, like, tips or tricks you guys do?
Well, for me, I have a two-part system. One is having an agenda. And I pick 3 things that I choose to complete that day. So once I get those 3 things done, then I can do other things. But so I think focus work segments are very important for me. So when it comes to time management, having a focused work segment and then I separate that work from dynamic work, where that's a bunch of little tasks that I have to do, like when I'm doing things on Notion and organizing. And then there's deep work when I'm like writing and things like that, where it takes more focus, you know? So, and so understanding those 2 and how I'm going to navigate my day each day, I feel like it's very important. So when you wake up in the morning, it's important to know like what you want to accomplish and set a theme for that. I mean, I set the tone for the day is important for me. So it helps with time and energy management.
I think I'm right there with you. I think having like a plan for the next day has been huge for me. Like knowing like, okay, if I go to sleep in the morning, like these are the things I'm trying to get done. And even if you don't get them done, it's motivating to have those things ahead of you and like, really like try to tackle something like that. So
yeah, and I'm with you the next day, you know? Yeah. So if you don't get them all done, you know, you have to start with the first task you didn't complete for the day on. But I'm trying to not make, okay, so here's another point with energy management. When you are directing your energy and stuff, you don't want to make tasks that you know you're not going to complete because you're forming a habit within your subconscious mind that you don't complete tasks, that you don't do the things you say you're going to do. So it's important to make tasks that you know you can do so you start creating more momentum. So that's how we sustain growth, because we don't run on just our conscious mind. We run on our subconscious program. So it's our patterns, our habits, our underlying behaviors that force us into these actions. So if we don't put these systems in place to work for us, I feel like time management is a system. It's a routine that you must set for yourself and to put that system in place so your life can run a little smoother, you know, and you can have more moments of flow, you know.
And I think would be to like prioritize like certain tasks that require more energy. When you talk about energy management, is time them like in the day where you'd probably be most productive with that thing, or really do the most like important tasks in the beginning of the day when you have the most energy.
Get started with those. And let them like carry that momentum into like the other stuff.
Exactly.
Do something extremely hard in the morning. Something that you know it's just like you'll have a harder time doing it later in the day, like maybe working out, because then you feel good. First of all, you're like, oh, I don't have to work out later. I already did it.
So solid. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a weight off your shoulder, and it's also like, but I worked out too, so it's like it feels so good.
Yeah, and you completed something. So now it's like you started your day off with like, ooh, all right, check. You know, when you check, I don't know about y'all, but when I check something off, it feels good to me. So like even just checking off like, ooh, I complete my daily reading and I did my workout. It starts me up to like stay in that momentum of getting things done and staying on that productive wavelength. For
real though. Yeah, really, it's like something tiny. Like
I do the easiest thing, I do the easiest thing first, and that is for me is just my daily affirmation. I always just pay homage to the source, the universe, that one energy sustaining everything. That's for me. And as I complete that and have that in my routine, I'm able to ground myself. So every day, my routine starts with, I call it my 4x4, but it starts with me grounding myself. And my 4x4 is like 15 minutes of exercise, 15 minutes of writing in my journal, 15 minutes of reading, and then 15 minutes of reflection, of just being quiet. And then after those, so that comes down to a whole hour of little things to help myself. So every day, if I'm doing that every day, I'm improving in those areas every day. And then right after I'm done with that, I write the 3 things that I want to get done. I plan for my day, and then it helps me like move. I know it's just that routine really just helps me see clearer. So I'm not focusing my energy outside of what I intended for that day. And that helps you. That's like operating in purpose too, because you have a purpose for that day. So you're flowing within the purpose for that day. So there's overall purpose for your life. And then there's your intention that you set for that day. And so therefore, when it comes to energy management, when you're focusing your energy and within your purpose, you're not doing things that doesn't serve that purpose. And so that helps you too. Like, is this worth me doing? Should I complete this task right now? Is it a priority? Like Victor said, is it a priority? So you're prioritizing. So that really helps in the morning for me. What about you guys?
I like the fact that you wait until after you get your morning going, like with some basic stuff. Then you write down what you're gonna do that day. I think that's pretty interesting. Only because you get that that motivation build up, and then you go, all right, what am I really gonna do today? And then you write it down. I kind of do it a different way. I mean, mine's more like pre-set up, like weekly. This is okay. It's Monday. Mondays, this is what I do. And I'm gonna, I guess it's more of a general. It's more of like a general plan. It's like all right, this is like the focus of where I'm gonna like focus my energy, and then break it down. Okay, what can I do inside that area? And then I kind of choose, I guess. But
it's almost like I have to set up your week or life to be like, what can I do when I'm like super lazy and like depressed or whatever? So like you can go on autopilot. So like have systems set up so like even if you're like I don't want to do it, it's like, well, it's right there. So like let me go put my running shoes on and run really quick, or like the work stuff's right there, and it's like I already have the planned weekly. Like make it easy for you to do stuff that you don't feel like doing in that moment, because you're gonna get that all the time where you're like, hey, I wanted to work out a week ago, but today I don't want to do it. But like you just have systems set up so you can sustain this growth that you're going on, because you're definitely gonna come to a point where you're gonna be like, I don't want to do it, I'm too tired, life comes up, so many things could happen. But just be like, let me make it easy. Let me not try to work out for 3 hours every day. Let me try to work out for like 45 minutes and see what happens, and maybe I'll do a 2-hour workout if I have time today. Right. Set easy wins.
And schedule your day around that. Like make it,
that goes along with like prioritizing, because like for some people, they have like different priorities. Like some people do want to get more jacked, and some people do want to make more money. And for those who like do want to make more money, they know like their priority is to, get those sales, like prospect, do all that like in the morning. And like if they do also like want to stay fit and everything, they'll also implement that into their morning as well. Like I do like Malachi's like the morning routine is like crucial for me too, like doing the meditation and like getting workout in, and then like reading. I call those like daily maintenance kind of thing. And that's like those quick like early tasks that kind of supplement the rest of the day.
It really does. I call that checking in with yourself, which is like for me, because I feel like throughout your day you're gonna have different things that's gonna take your attention. So if you first wake up and you just spend that day to just like ground yourself, pour into yourself, energize yourself, it's like if you come through a task throughout the day that's gonna like be a little challenging and stuff, you have the ability to, because you're more grounded, you're able to have more clarity, so you can handle, instead of being knocked off your rocker because this thing you didn't anticipate this, But when you check in with yourself every day and you have these little things that you've built within yourself that sustains you and helps you manage your energy, because remember, it's time management and energy management. So you don't want to direct your focus into things that you don't want to build and grow. So I feel like checking with yourself helps you have clarity when throughout your day you might something might come into your experience where it's like, oh my God, but you can handle it better because you took that time to just build yourself up without trying to focus on completing any like big major tasks. You just did little things that satisfy you and that give you just that refreshing energy.
Yeah, and building off that, like, I can't stress enough how important the small tasks are, right? It's like, if you're going to put a billion things on your schedule, you might think it makes you feel good because it's like, oh, look, I have all these dreams and goals and I'm going to achieve all of them. And then you're going to look at that list for the next month and it's not going to get smaller and you're going to feel like you're not accomplishing anything and then you're not going to be motivated at all. So it's like you got to balance the two. You got to have some really simple, easy ones that you can like get done in 5 minutes. And then you have to have, all right, this is the challenge. This is going to take me hours and I'm going to put in the work. And then I don't know. That's at least huge for me,
Right.
It's all about focus.
Yeah, focus. I do.
Yeah,
How do you guys feel about accountability? Like not only being accountable to yourself, but do you have people who we share our goals with one another. So, but like you have people you share your goals with and things like that. I don't know, you guys out there listening, do you have someone in your life that holds you accountable to the things that you say you're going to do and things like that? Because I feel like that's important when you're gonna do something like this, and then you have a friend to say, well, Malachi, you said you're about to post this thing, but you never posted it. What's going on? And then that friend can help you through whatever block you might have too. But I say
Stop slipping. Sorry.
Yeah. It's social contract, bro. It's free.
Yeah, it's right. And your accountability partner can help you, like, go forward and can see things that you may not, and so to help you progress. So that's the benefit of having an accountability partner. Yeah, a fresh, clean perspective, but that perspective is always in your best interest, trying to empower you and uplift you.
Right, yeah.
You don't want a pessimistic accountability partner. Someone
that'd be awful.
Yeah, you ain't get nowhere. So you have to trust someone with your dreams. Your accountability partner is someone you could trust, because not only are they trying to build themselves up, if they're not trying to build themselves up, how could they ever build you up? So you have to find someone who's trying to improve themselves, and they're on the adventure of self-growth and self-development and being all they could be. And then you guys do that together, because that's like, I feel like that's kind of what we do already, though.
It's like a side note. People say keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Mm-hmm.
Do they mean to keep your? Well, I've heard that like. Let's
dive into this. I love this actually. Yeah.
When they say like keep your enemies close, I've heard that it means because your enemies tell you things that your friends won't like tell you.
Yeah, that's a good one, Victor.
No, that's facts.
Yeah.
But they hang out with you guys.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Who could be honest?
Really makes his enemy.
You're doing great, Mason.
No, but yeah,
God, I hate you all.
The best accountability people have actually been the people who I didn't want them to be my accountable person. They just happened to be it because they were closest to me, and they were like, "Hey, like I'm seeing this shit, I don't like it. I'm seeing this, I don't like it." And then I'm like, you're right. I don't like that too. Let me go think about this and change this. Right. But it's never been. I don't, except for you guys. I've never had someone who I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go do this," and then go do it. I kind of just did it for myself. I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna do this," and then I did it. Until as I got older, I felt like slowly it's harder for me to do that. Like I still do it, but like now I need more people who's like, "Hey, where is that thing?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's coming." Whereas when I was younger, I was just like, "I got this. I'm gonna do it all. I'm gonna make it happen." And I don't know. I always felt like I was like on my own. I guess the more I got comfortable with people, the more I rely now too on like, "Hey, where's that thing?" Or are you gonna post this or that? But again, the systems I think is what kept me going. You have to have a system down besides the energy and the spirit and
it's all in the routine. Like success is in your routine. You're gonna hear me say that all the time, guys, because success is in your routine. I figured that out too, because when I didn't have a routine, I didn't really have no guiding path. So therefore I didn't have a target to hit each day. And because I didn't have a target, I was just like emptying the clip everywhere. And so your energy is going everywhere instead of going to one thing,
Say it again for people in the back.
It in the clip everywhere. So it's good to have a target.
No, but that goes with focus.
Yeah,
if you're not focused, you can't really climb that mountain if you're trying to climb like different ways. You have to just go up that one way and say, "Hey, I'm going to wherever I want to go. And that's it. So like you have to find that one priority, make it the main thing you work on for like at least 4 hours every day. And then once you're done with that or you're happy with it, move on to something else. You really can't be doing like 3 or 4 things at a time unless you plan on doing it for the next 5 years. But if you want to do something for like a year, be like, hey, at the end of this year, I want to be like fit, or the end of this year, I want to be a good programmer, or a good this, or good that. You have to spend every day focused on that. Everything else doesn't matter, but that in your whatever your morning routine is. Then when you're done with it, you can go on to other things. But like, focus is key.
Yeah, when you're doing something, do it. Do that.
Yeah.
Don't
go all the way.
Do other things at the same time. Yeah. So don't bounce between things.
Yeah. Also with like goals and like planning out your day, you like I've tried doing the work on this at this time. I mean like that's good. Like you're like way organized than like a lot of people, but to be even more is like to specifically point out what you do need to do for that particular area in your life. It's like if you want to get better at graphic design or something, you could say something more specific like, okay, work on drafting today, and that'll give you like even more like sharper focus on what you need to do to get better, instead of being like, yeah, just work on graphic design. And it's be like, then you're just going to be kind of like, you're still going to be like generally focused, but you could be even more focused. That's kind of getting a little bit like nitpicky, but
no, dude, that's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true.
True, because well, if you say graphic design, what part of graphic design?
Exactly,
you know what element of that. So that's really good, especially if it's in regards to building a skill. Because as you're improving too, there's certain skills that you're also improving. So that's why also in the morning I use that. I wake up a little earlier to have like skill building time to practice like things like are important to me, like speaking and crafting speeches and stuff like that. Those when I do that, or my language, like learning new languages. I do those in the morning too, because they're like intellectually stimulating. So when I complete them, I'm excited that they're done, So it's always like fun for me. I like that idea, Victor.
It makes sense. It's like if you break what if your goal, okay, the goal of making a schedule and time management is to focus your time, right? It's like, I want to get more things done. So what better can help you than focus your task even more, so you know exactly what you're doing, so you don't get into that like, okay, I'm gonna program today. I mean, I can program anything. That doesn't focus me at all.
Like, stare at a screen, you're like,
what is it that I'm trying to program? Am I trying to learn a new language? Why do I want to program? That kind of thing. Just, I guess, ask the question, why? Why am I doing this task? And then let that take you.
Yeah, keep asking why.
Having like an overarching goal for like the year maybe, and then breaking it down by month, and then breaking it down by week. Then you're like, okay, so I need to accomplish each of these things every day of this week to accomplish that weekly goal, and then like I need to accomplish all these things by the end of the second week to eventually reach the month goal. So it's like
so what would you
happen? Go ahead.
What would you say is the benefits of having accountability partner then?
I think they'll provide like
motivation, and then just the keeping you on track. So at any moment you can tell yourself, hey, I'll just get it done next week. I'll still get it done, but I'll get it done next week, and then you feel better about it. Unless you really need a week, yeah, it's fine. But like, no, you need to have someone say like, hey, you said you were gonna get out February 24th, and we're getting closer. Are you close to done? Do you not have it done? You're like, you're right. I need to stay on it. I need to schedule my time differently. Maybe I need to make sacrifices so I can reach that deadline. Because that's what happens. Same with like businesses. They're like, oh, we got to crunch now. Or we got to do this and that to get it out on the day we said we're gonna get it out. And then from then on, you're free to like relax for a little bit and then go back and whatever you want to do. But you have to have someone to say, hey, get on it. You're not doing this right. Because I remember Mason and I, we talked about the whole like K2B2 thing. It was like a little droid. You need something that like constantly is like watching you, saying like, hey, you're doing this wrong, or your form's wrong in your workout, or you can improve your piano skills by doing this. Yeah, like it'd be great. You'd be how much better you'd be if you can like constantly just be like watching yourself, judging yourself, and being like, hey, how can I be the best that I can be? And that's
that's a dangerous road though too.
Yeah.
You make some really depressed
But
people.
it can also protect you. It can have like taser things, and if someone's trying to attack you, it just goes like tase them.
Accidentally tases you.
Yeah, and then the end of the world, attack of the fucking droid.
Okay.
No. So what do you say? You know, what happens if a person is, you know, overwhelmed by tasks? You know, they have goals, they have ambitions, but you know, we're talking about scheduling your day and doing this and doing that and having a friend that's always talking to you and telling you like you can't give up. And what if that person's like, no, that's too much for me. I don't want all that.
Yeah.
You know, I guess I would say maybe just shorten that list. Focus on one or two things at a time, and,
That
and do those because that's what makes you happy.
Yeah, that and also I would say overwhelm. I feel like overwhelm comes from a lack of clarity and also a lack of like priority and focus. And
That's
so
a good point.
moving on to our next point, which would be why. So I think having a clear purpose and understanding of your why will help you narrow down all that fluff that makes you overwhelmed. You know, so how do I tear down all this things that maybe not necessary? You know, so what's necessary and what's not. So I think getting very clear on that will help you like be less overwhelmed because I feel like a lack of clarity is an indication of like you might that's why you're a little overwhelmed because you're not
Yeah.
clear on what you really want.
Yeah. Okay. So clarity. How do you find clarity in what you're trying to do? So I mean, I know.
Are we talking about clarity or so we're talking about your why and clarity and like how those kind of
Basically, how do you discover that why? How do you be as clear as possible?
Yeah, it sounds like having clarity and knowing why you're doing something helps a lot. You being like, you know, keeping you from being overwhelmed. Because if you know why you're doing something, I think you can calm yourself down pretty quick and be like, you know, this isn't that big of a deal.
Yeah. Makes it black and white.
And you can find motivation and inspiration.
So how did you guys go about finding the reasons why you're doing what you do? Like Victor, why do you want to become an artist so bad? What is it inside you? Is it just natural, or is this some vision that you have of yourself that you want to fulfill?
That explodes. I think it's like
right. There's no like you don't really know, right? It's kind of like
I think it's like if you like say you lost everything and like you're given a choice to do like one thing or I guess become not that everybody's looking to be like renowned for a particular thing, but like you're given the choice to do one thing for like the rest of your life. That's probably like most likely your purpose or like your most like coveted like idea of like what you want your life to be. So it's kind of like stripping down everything that you do to doing like one thing. And it's like for me like that's probably art and creating like this vision that I have, and I like to express that vision using like visuals and like art and like tangible things, creating like forms and developing like this whole kind of atmosphere, and I feel like the medium of like art allows me to do that the easiest. So like,
and when did you discover that? Was that like after drawing a lot, or is that from like shows or?
Oh, I definitely think it's like, I think it's maturity and I think it's doing it a lot and like seeing what's out there and like being and being exposed to a lot of different other art forms and having life experiences, and you become like driven to go certain paths or create certain things.
It's kind of like a development.
You definitely started
like
developing.
Seed was planted.
Because when I was a kid, I was just drawing like I love drawing animals and houses and people. So I think like I had like this like fixation with like faces and like architecture. So I think I always liked the idea of like man-made things and like human or like earthly things, and I think I liked those two items, and I think it just like developed into like this vision that I had.
Now
So
you're just
art was-
chasing that vision.
Yeah. So art was
Yeah.
just like the easiest way to like create that. Besides like music and like, you know, these other things.
Basically, all the things you do.
Yeah, you said something important too. You said life experiences. I think sometimes challenges and different things, they like bring out like that contracting perspective where you can actually see like, okay, maybe I don't want that, but not knowing that I don't want that makes you understand that I want this instead.
Yeah, that's huge.
Like,
that's why I said try everything.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like
Do it
too,
all.
like the challenges are actually helpful. They're useful because they bring out like not only they challenge your imagination and they're like, okay, you want to go forward and you want to do more, you want to grow. The challenge is there to add that pressure, because without that pressure, you probably wouldn't take that action step, you know? So those life experiences are very helpful. And I know in my life, KB, you want to go or?
No, you can go. I'll go after you.
All right. So in my life, the life experiences really like helped me. And I was able to narrow down, like, if you take everything that I do in my life, it comes down to one thing. And this is my mission statement for my life: spreading well-being and exciting happiness. That's the end all be all for me. So if you look at everything I do in my life, you will see that they come there. Those are the things that it hangs on: spreading well-being and exciting happiness. And once I realized that, I do everything from that place. I'm an empowerer. I'm an uplifter. And so with all the talents and things that I have, that's my why: to uplift and to accentuate or amplify well-being and excite happiness and inner fulfillment for other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so,
when you're talking about like life experiences, it's like I think life pushes you to like feel things, like because it pushes you in ways that you wouldn't be pushed. Like if you decided to stay home and like not have life experiences, you wouldn't really like discover things about yourself. So when you like put yourself in these different environments, it causes you to like feel things. You're like, holy crap, I didn't know I felt this way about this thing.
Yeah.
You just like go deeper into like your self-actualization.
Hey, let's touch on that point for a second.
You know,
and we're talking about, you know, sustaining growth and like, you know, keeping that momentum going. I cannot think of a better way of keeping a momentum going than to get really uncomfortable in a situation that you know you're like not used to, and then realizing that you got comfortable doing it, and then you came out of it like, yo, I am a new man. I can do so much more. Like, what else can I
unstoppable.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you come out of that high is like, I can do anything. Like, this is like, for me, it was like public speaking. I was so afraid of it, and my face would turn bloodshot red, and I knew everyone could tell, and it was just like, I would start talking really fast, and then like, you know, 10, 15 seconds in, you're doing it, and it's kind of like, who fucking cares at this point? I'm already like embarrassing myself. And then you finish it. Like, you're like, okay, sweet, whatever, did it.
I actually enjoy public speaking.
I do now.
Yeah,
then you
it's
get
scary, but it's fun.
No, like it's so scary. But I remember the one day when it's like I knew it came from the heart, and then I let it out, and I was like, this isn't even that hard. And it's like, you just gotta know what the fuck you want to talk about. I've been trying to talk about stuff I didn't care about, and I've been scared because I didn't care about it. But now, like, now that I know about it, it's like, yeah, listen to me. I want to tell you guys something. Like, I have a point to be made. So that's probably where it comes from.
Honestly, the worst part about school is that they can make you talk about shit you don't care about.
Dude, I made a speech about clowns one time. I didn't care about clowns.
I don't know why the hell you spoke about clowns.
Yeah, me neither, bro.
The teacher's like, you have to speak about clowns. He's like, I don't want to. You have to.
You have to.
Shut the fuck up.
Fail.
And that also plays right into understanding your purpose. Because if you had to speak about something you didn't really have any alignment with or no connection to, it doesn't bring the same passion and the same excitement and enthusiasm. So
how are you supposed to be like casual
about clowns?
Well, that and like, how are you supposed to be like comfortable, more comfortable talking about it if you like genuinely don't know what the hell to say?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like,
you
then you're
don't
just really making it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
You just have to be a really good speaker.
Yeah,
How do
at that point, good with words and all that. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Moses. I love you.
You're good. So for you, KB, how do you understand your why? And then we're gonna come to you next, Mason.
So originally my why was exactly what Mason said. I was just chasing like uncomfortable, like going out of my comfort zone to get that feeling of like I've achieved this. This feels good. Let me do the next thing that I'm uncomfortable with, and the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. And then it's weird, but my why isn't really like my job or what I want to do, because I just want to travel the world and see like everything and meet new people, and like that's what makes me want to do other things. But I mean, if we go deeper, I guess you could say a lot of things that I've like, pointed to was like this idea of like light versus darkness. So like storytelling, I guess, because when I was younger, like Victor said, I used to draw on my tests like a mini battle of like good versus evil, and they'd be like, "You can't draw your test." I'm like, I was bored. I don't know. I was just, and it was just stick figures and like a ship coming into an island, just random crap like that. And then just like as years went on, I was like, yeah, I want to help people get out of this like dark rut, because like this light versus darkness. Like, and that's the reason why I'm positive. It's not even because of like just like the happiness around me. It's just like darkness is like evil, negativity, and light positivity is good. So I'm gonna be on the good side. That's literally what's driven me for the last like most of my life until like I started like understanding things. But it's just been like, yeah, fight against the good side, and I'll play figures all the time, and I'll come up with this world, and they'd be fighting this world, and it'd be like seasons. Like a year later, I'm like, they're finally fighting the final boss, and like this is happening. This is literally what I do most of my childhood. I was like, yeah. But yeah, that's my why is I just want to see the world, to get the most out of life, and then at the same time like tell stories about good versus evil. So whatever does that, I could be making games, writing books, traveling, and telling the stories of the people I traveled with. Who knows? But it all makes me feel good at the end, though. Again, easy wins. Make your life easy to be happy about, to feel like you're accomplishing goals.
So follow your bliss. That's
there you go. That's what we call it.
What makes you feel good.
Follow my bliss.
Yeah, follow your bliss, boy.
Beat the darkness.
Yeah.
What about me?
And another thing I love is actually you're getting me all excited now. I love the idea of like someone either like going into the darkness and still like fighting for good. So that's where I feel like I am in the middle. So like even though like darkness will happen, I get excited and like I get sad or angry. I'm like, yeah, but instead of getting upset about it, I'm gonna use it to empower me to be better and good. It's this weird psychological thing I've done in my life where like I can't really be upset. Like even when I'm sad or angry, I'm like, this is making me stronger. So when I'm happy, I'm it's so weird.
Well, KB, that's also polarity.
And that's the end of the podcast.
I used to love getting sick. So I would like struggle out of the bed. I'm like, I'm getting stronger.
What is he, the Hulk? He's transforming.
Right.
But see, that's the thing about the balance of opposites. Because if there was no up, you would never know down. If there was no dark, you would never know light. Good nor bad, happy nor sad. So that's the dance of polarity. So you want to be like in that sweet spot, the neutrality spot, where you can move throughout the spectrum, and that really helps. I like that. You said that in so many words, so.
Well, it's like every hero, that's like an archetype, like the hero. You want to be the one on the good side, defeating the evil. And like it's just super motivating. It's deep within us, I feel like.
Yeah. But it's like throughout like the stories I've watched in like my life, I feel like I'm more connected to like the Sasuke, the Zuko, the people who like dealt with like good and evil, but chose to be good in the end. Because like I used to just want to be the good person. It was like all pure optimism and like nothing. But then I was like, I don't really vibe with that as much. I don't think most people vibe with that too. I think most people like the person who's got a little bit of darkness, a little bit of struggles, and now it's just like, hey, everything's gonna be all right. Like, I had a person in our school who was like, always like, come on guys, let's do it, and everybody was like, hate her. And I'm like, but she's just trying to spread joy, and I'm like, she matches. No,
sunshine.
You need to sulk. You need to be in that pain and like the darkness. You really do.
You need those.
Embrace it, because I feel like it teaches you something. It's all teaching you something. And you said something very cool. Zuko, he's a character on KB.
Avatar: Last Airbender. One of the best characters. One of the best redemption arcs ever. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, but he does have this inner battle happening, and he has to choose his own purpose and his own like path. And once he did that, I don't think it was just about good and evil, because he was teeter-tottering between both of them because he didn't know who he was. So once he decided who he was gonna be, he was better that choice was like, okay, I'm going to create more good in the world. I'm going to be more supportive and things like that. So he started to understand who he was. And when he understood who he was, he had a more fulfilling life, according to the show. Like, you know, things balanced out more. And that's where it comes. So Mason, what is your why? You know? I like how that came from.
Anime, TV shows. No.
They're helpful. Stories like they let you see things from a different perspective. That's why I love stories and storytelling.
And getting to like bond with them and like kind of like pick pieces out of it. It's like, oh man, that's so cool. I want to be like that. Like,
right.
I know what you mean. No, but so my why, you know, I'm still figuring it out, to be honest. But
that's all good.
I think we kind of all are, you know.
Yeah.
Wait, do you have a mission statement?
Do I have a mission statement?
We should all make one. Well, y'all should all make one because I have one.
I don't have
I
like
already
a
have
legit
one too.
Let me hear it. What you got?
So mine is like I want to. Well, I might have forgotten. No, I want to make life easier, more enjoyable for myself and others. As in like, whatever that entitles. And then also it says myself because when I was making it, it was like, remember, don't forget about yourself too. Like you can do all this for other people, but don't forget about the one person who's most important. It's like yourself, because if you can't do it, if you're not okay, then you won't be able to give it to people. So I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, but the idea is to make life easier, which means maybe stories help make someone's life easier, maybe creating a product or whatever it is. It's again an easy mission statement where no matter what you're doing, you're completing it.
What you said was a funny dichotomy of selfishness.
I know, because like I realized the same. It's like, oh, it's
definitely a paradox.
It's true though. Like it's true.
It's like when the airplane thing where it's like before you put the mask on someone else, you have to put it on yourself. Otherwise, you can't help anyone.
Well, exactly. And you can't give someone something that you don't have. So you have to have that inner capacity, because it would be not authentic if you don't really give it to yourself. And so it would start being, okay, because I did this for you, you have to do this for me. Because now you're giving it to them. You're giving that power to them to serve you, to fill you up. You should be full already, and they should have the overflow of what it's like of you pouring into yourself and uplifting. And it becomes natural for someone to just be uplifted around you because that's who you are on the inside, you know?
Yeah, you're like projecting that kind of energy.
That kind of energy, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't think
you guys got homework. Victor and Mason has homework. Mission statement.
I'm down to write it down. I think it'd be good.
I feel like it would be good to something to know for yourself.
Yeah, like I guess deep down, I do what I do because I love new experiences. I love the improbability of the future. You know what I mean? Like I like putting myself into a situation where I don't know what's gonna happen, and then prevailing and being like, "Well, this was sick. I'm glad I did that." And then
like snowboarding that tall mountain.
Yeah, like doing things that I know are scary, and I don't know. I have like a yearning to do them. I guess it's just, you know, it's deep within me. Maybe it was my dad. Maybe it was whatever it was. But that's kind of the reason why I do things in general. Is like if I haven't done it, I'm very interested in doing it. And I kind of, you know, that's my why. Is like, I do what I do because I want something new. I want to see, feel, experience, you know, whatever it is. But yeah, we'll see where that takes me.
Right. So,
I can take you anywhere, dude.
I think because like
let's go to Mars.
People, when you say like you like to break out and like experience new things, I think like a lot of people do limit themselves and like when you try something new that you never thought that you could ever do, it's like your neurons are just like freaking out because you're making these like new connections. Because like once you do experience that new thing and you come out alive and you're like, holy crap, I can do that. I never thought I could ever do that. And it's like your neurons are just like making these new pathways and your paradigm like shifts.
Say the word.
Neuroplasticity.
The word of the series. Say it. That's growth right there, bro.
Yeah, that is growth.
That's growth.
Big G.
That's growth and momentum. And so, but Victor, you said something very interesting. Why do you think people limit themselves? Like, what is it in their mind or their perceptions is limited?
Honestly, they get society. I think it's society,
In a
man.
society.
No, it
Like how
is.
everyone's
It really is.
grown. Like
Yeah.
nobody
I-
is really told to like. I mean, no one's really told to like be your or like
Be
be
authentic.
yourself and like you can do it and like
Well, they
do
do,
whatever
but
you
it's just like,
want.
but then
Is
they
it
try to
really?
control you a bit.
Yeah.
Again, it's
Be
kind of
yourself,
like,
but do what I want to do. Come on.
well, that too.
Let's elaborate on this. I feel
You're
like we
just like
should.
you're just like immediately thrown into the system and it's like nothing good
Yeah.
happens there, man. Like it's
I feel like we can elaborate on this more, but let's reiterate our
you
point.
hear that,
So,
listeners.
so where do we
watching.
start? We started with time management.
Time management.
Yeah.
Came to the conclusion that.
And the app.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. I was just gonna say the application for times management would be like learning a routine, and Victor also said focus, energy management. So knowing where to focus your energy, prioritizing, and having a good routine to manage that energy that you're focusing.
And only take on what makes sense. You have to really, and then
The next-
constantly fine tune that routine. So it's like, if you're never getting something done, you need to change your routine. Either shorten the list, break it up more, whatever it is. But like, don't think that because you're not successful at your routine that you're not successful and you're not growing. It's like, it needs to be a process, a constantly evolving process.
Hmm. And with focus, just choose that one thing. Plan your year out. Have 3 months to do one thing, another 3 months to do something else, or you can do 6 months. Plan it out, and then just focus on that one thing for 3 months.
Yeah.
And in the next few months, be like, I'm gonna focus on this.
Dang.
By the end of the year, you'll have
actually
maybe
plan it.
yeah.
Yeah. And each
seriously focus. Yeah.
next best step of that thing, until you get to the overarching goal of, hey, I completed it, whatever it may be. You got,
Yeah, go to Mexico. Go to
Yeah.
Tulum.
Yeah, lock
Go to
yourself in
Cancun.
Tulum.
Fuck it. I mean,
Okay.
First, so you're not, when you're gonna go, you gotta pick a date. That's the next best step. You pick the date. Now you gotta get the ticket. Next best
Yeah,
step.
dude, that's my
You gotta
thing this
complete
year.
that. Next best step. So you just keep going and keep going and keep going.
I
Yeah.
also think that people like it's like mindset is, I feel like it's a bit underrated, and I think consistency plays a huge part into mindset because people might beat themselves up for not accomplishing those goals every day.
Mhm.
So it's like in order to like develop that mindset, you do have to do it every day. So it's like
Yeah.
so it's like telling yourself to read that book every day changes your mindset of thinking like, oh, I'll never be good at reading, or like, I'll never be a salesman. I'll never be good at sales.
Get that.
It's like
never
a
out of your
mindset.
head,
It's like
bro.
yeah. So it's like
Disgusting. It's
the
eating
daily
you.
steps that you take to make those calls every day, like
Mhm.
changes your mindset to
Yeah.
be that salesman. So it's like
Yeah.
That was cute. You
consistency.
said, Mason,
What?
And we also
about don't ever say never. Like, don't even
It's
say
just-
can't. Just say I am personally struggling with this at the moment.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
reverses
This is hard.
everything. Yeah, like
This is
because when you say
difficult.
can't, mean like I can never do it. But if you say okay, personally I'm struggling, but one day I can, and it's just again another switch in your mindset, where it's like okay, let's go. I'm gonna do it one day. Let me just keep trying, and eventually I'll get there.
Yeah.
Never say
looking for
can't.
possibility instead of
People-
limitation. I like that.
People, including myself, need to stop being so hard on themselves.
That's
Yeah.
another one.
It's
That's personal.
it's okay.
Sure.
It's okay. Things are falling apart right now, or at least you think they are. But tomorrow you can bring them right back together. You can pick that up. You can start doing this again. It's up to you.
Yeah.
It's all on you. And no one's gonna do it for you. And if you want it to fall apart, then let it fall apart. But don't be crying and wondering why everything sucks. It's your fault. Or even if it's not, you're letting it be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but how can you take ownership? What can I do? If I can do something to change the situation, then you do that. But if you can't, then you just got to do what's necessary to take care of it. I like that too, mate.
And it's incremental. It's like, it's so, even if things are like really tough and you do one thing and you're really trying to learn something new or whatever and you're not making much progress, it's a process. Things go slowly. You have to just
Yeah.
take your time, do it the best you can. I swear to you, if you do it long enough, you'll be damn good.
Exactly. And some things you have to realize too that everything in time has a gestation period.
Yeah.
When you planted that carrot seed, you didn't get the carrot the next day. And you don't want to dig up the seed to see if it's growing because then you mess up the process of the seed growth. So you just have to, like Mason said, trust that process. And I think that also plays into personal accountability. But we also talked about having an accountability partner, and that's important.
Also, like what you said about even if you fail the day before, it's like you kind of have to trash yesterday. Like you have to kind of in a way like forget it. It's like when people think of New Year's as like this one moment where you can like reinvent yourself. But it's like, no, you can reinvent yourself the next day. Like you can reinvent yourself in the next 30 minutes.
Yeah, by making a new choice. Right?
Literally, yeah, just like changing your course of action.
The crazy thing to me is when people are like, "Oh, well, I didn't do it January 2nd or 1st, so I'm gonna wait till next year."
It's like what?
All right.
Just do it.
All right, get going.
Yeah, don't do that.
I mean, I get it because it's weird. I guess because I'm kind of like OCD about some things like that too. So it's like, oh, but it's got to be like that year, that time. But like, who cares? Who gives a damn?
But that's
like you might die randomly next week. Is that going to be like logical? No, just do it until you die one day, whenever that may be. Might be next week, might be 10, 20, 40, a whole lifetime from now. Just go freaking start today. And if you mess up, start again tomorrow. Be like, all right, well, that didn't work out. Let me just try again tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow until you get something worth it's meaningful to you.
Right.
Don't just say, oh, because it sucks, I'm not going to do it today, or I'm not going to grow, or all my growth is gone. I threw it out the window. It's like, all right, you lost 1 second, maybe an hour of your day. Who cares? Nobody's going to check your box off in your life saying, well, you wasted too many hours. I'm going to have to. Why? What's going to happen? Just
that's the truth. You're just judging yourself.
Yeah, stop judging yourself. Make it easy for yourself. Have easy wins, easy mission statement. Have a plan. Only focus on doing 4 hours of work every day. Don't try to make it 12 hours a day. Just be like, hey, I'm going to do this one thing every 4 hours every week, every day. Oh, I have other stuff I need to do. Cool, but I have enough time for 4 hours or maybe even 2 hours.
Yeah.
Then I can go do all my other crap. Yeah.
Do something consistently for 30 minutes and you'll feel amazing.
Yeah. And then there's that one technique, there's Pomodoro technique, where it's like 45 minutes, then 15-minute break, 45 minutes, 15-minute break, and you do way better than studying for 60 minutes and not having any break. Like, you really need to realize that relaxation is a part of growing and actually becoming better. Like, when you work out, you have to relax so your muscles grow. Relax. Yeah. It's okay to relax. Just don't be lazy, but like relax when you Yeah.
And to build on what KB said too, when he was like, if you fall, go to the next day. I mean, if you fail, go on to the next day. Keep going, keep going. Yes, keep going, and let your why fuel you. Let your purpose fuel you. Because if you have a strong enough purpose, that'll be the magnet for that feeling, and it'll attract more things to you. You know, that will amplify that purpose. So you let your purpose fuel you, and you move within that. I think you'll be fine, my friend. I really
if you have your purpose fueling you, you don't need someone to tell you to do something. You don't need to listen to a motivation video or some guy, a guru on YouTube being like, bro, get up, go do it. You're like, I was going to do it regardless because it's what I want to do.
Yeah.
But you can use that energy of those motivation videos, though, to boost your own energy, because being in that environment will help you, like, okay, so what you do is, if you know you need that little pickup, like use those videos to give you a pickup, you know? Because I listen to someone like
well, I mean, use them for good. I'm not saying don't ever listen to them. Yeah.
Dude, I used to listen to them on the way to work. I was having like the roughest week at work. It was just like 56-hour weeks, deadlines like crazy. I was like, I enjoyed it kind of when I was in it, and I would come home and I'm like, God, I don't want to go back tomorrow. It's gonna be so intense. And then every morning I would listen to like a hype, like build up Will Smith video.
You want it.
Oh yeah, it's just like,
doesn't matter how hard you hit.
Yelling at you.
Like falling asleep while driving. I'm like,
it's literally having your mentor like yell at you, like motivating you through.
It was extremely. Oh, one other thing I wanted to touch on was, don't feel, at least I would say, don't feel attached to your routine either, because we kind of stressed how big it is to like organize things. Commit to something, be disciplined, but then also understand if you don't like that anymore. Like, you're not getting any enjoyment while doing it anymore. Okay, well, reevaluate your schedule. Like I was saying, evolve it, and be okay with just quitting something. If you're like, this isn't my thing, I tried really hard, I'm out, and then go do something else. You don't need to feel like this like, don't feel disappointed in yourself because you did something or you said you were going to do something and then realized you didn't want to do it no more.
Right.
It's okay. It's not a big deal.
And some things are for a season. Not everything is for your whole life, you know? So I like that.
It just leads you to another thing.
Yeah, it does.
Another thing,
Everything.
and then you die.
Evolution. I like that.
We
So
should
what
have an afterlife episode.
Space, Victor, when you're going through space and you're like, what do you see?
If I'm,
Oh
if I'm
my
going
God,
through
Victor!
space.
Victor, you have a billboard, Victor!
Oh, so if I had a quote?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on the spot. Dang. Okay. Okay.
Don't fuck this up.
I guess one that I've been like. What are you saying, bro? I guess one thing like I try to abide by like every day, like no matter what, is like do the right thing despite how you feel in the moment. It's like if you know it's like if you know
Being
you
a man
should
of
be doing
honor and
something.
integrity. Yeah, you just do the right thing that needs to be done.
Do the right thing.
Whoever's watching, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Even if your emotions are like, no.
Your emotions
You gotta be like,
You gotta say yes. You
yes.
brainwash yourself.
Yeah. You gotta take control.
Yeah, mind control.
Good choice. Yeah. Control your mind.
Be like
Don't let the mind control you.
It'll be like a
You can
plastic
tell.
bag in the wind if you're letting your emotions dictate where you go.
Oh,
You
yeah.
just wouldn't live your life.
Perry song.
Don't get pushed around.
You wouldn't achieve anything. You'd just be like, yeah, plastic bag,
You
man.
never feel like a plastic bag.
Come and let's just go.
Beautiful. That was-
No,
I'm so
we don't
sorry,
have. We
Space
should get like a fireworks like animation thing.
Oh, we should.
Mason, let's wrap us up.
All right,
So
let's wrap it up,
takeaways.
guys. So, yeah, I mean, as you guys heard, like, just go after it. Whatever it is you want to do.
Get after it.
And I think the biggest thing from this podcast, which we were really trying to harp on, and hopefully you guys picked it out, is that, like, it's a process. So we need to, like, put the things in place that will make the process be successful. Like Moses says, this. What do you say? The success is in the process.
Success is in your routine.
Success is in your routine.
It's in what you do. Yeah.
So
Your routine is in your daily actions.
yeah. So if you want to grow, you need to have a routine of growth, and you know what that is. Every one of us knows what that is for ourselves. So let's keep it up. Let's keep
Your
going.
journal will help you
Your
understand it
habits
too.
dictate
right?
your results,
It'll
man.
help you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And if you don't know it, you gotta do what Uncle Iroh says. It's time for you to look inward and start asking yourself the big question: who are you, and what do you want? No one else. What do you want? And then grow from that. Whatever you decide, who you are and what you want is your why. Go make your time management. Go find your accountability partner. And just get after it.
Welcome back to Earth. I hope you've enjoyed your journey.